Upload. Get yourself on the BBC. Go to bbc.co.uk/upload and upload your content now.
Yes, BBC Upload is what we spotlight on this show. It's your talent that you upload to bbc.co.uk/upload. It can be an audio file, it can be something visual. I just want to know what makes you tick. Then we go through it and we invite you to come on the show and chat a little bit about it on air as we feature what you submitted. It's great fun. We've had some amazing people on so far. And I've got a quiz host making their debut on the show. We've never had a quiz host since I've taken over the reins here on The Scene on Monday evening. So I'm very excited to find out more about Shane O'Neill. He's on the way. First, some Drake. Yes, that's right. It's Alice Dale here on BBC Radio London, spotlighting talent across London, courtesy of BBC Upload, the platform that allows you to share your creativity with us, and in return, we'll get you on the radio to chat about it. I've connected with so many creatives so far. It's lovely. And, you know, it's not just a one-time thing. You come on and we follow you. We follow your work. Exciting news as well, because we've got a festival in June, the BBC Upload Festival, where we are spotlighting your work in another way. We did it last year and it's back again. So if you want to submit to the... It's on the show with me every Monday between 8 and 10, or it's for this Upload Festival. Get in touch. We want to hear from you. Someone that did so is Shane, who's on the line. He's a quiz host. Now, I said earlier that I've not had a quiz host on the show before, so I'm very excited to unpick what he's been up to. Hi, Shane.
Hello.
Oh, Shane, I'm struggling to hear you a little bit. What I'm going to do is hand you back to the team and see if we can get you on FaceTime. If not, it might be doing some musical chairs around the living room, trying to get some signal, so better signal. So I'll hand you back to lovely Patrice, who's been taking your call, and we'll get you back on. But whilst we wait for that, a little bit about Shane. Look, the pandemic hit, and it was a time where a lot of us discovered something new, whether it was getting into exercise, it was taking up a new hobby. I did a lot of yoga with Adrian on the telly, who didn't quite get me into shape, but you know, I dipped into a newfound hobby, something that I still do now. And you know, during the pandemic, Shane did exactly the same. He said that there was sort of nothing to do, so he turned to social media online and started connecting with other people who were comic mad like he is. He's a self-confessed nerd, and basically they have been coming together online to not only share their passion for comics, but also do quiz night. So that's something that we will be hearing more about from Shane. I don't want to give it all away. Shane, I hear we've got you back on the line. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I am, and I can.
Yay! Yes, I think that deserves a round of applause. Thank you to the team for getting Shane back in the building, virtually, of course. Shane, look, you really intrigued me when you submitted to BBC Upload, because I've not had a quiz show host on the show before, and I love what you've been doing. There's so much to you. You're a massive comic book geek. That's what you've said. That's what you've written down. Let's unwrap that. When did your passion for sort of, you know, cartoon and comics and all that involves come to the surface? Is it from when you were really small?
Yeah, I think it was, you know, rushing home from school to watch Wonder Woman on TV or Adam West Batman. You know, that sort of thing just gets a kid excited, doesn't it?
For sure. And I mean, the fandom behind those films and stories as well is just immense, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. I never imagined it would be as big as it is today.
I love that. And Wonder Woman, I know, was, as you say, a favourite of yours. When did you start collecting those? When you were around 14, I think it says.
Yes, that's when I first got my very first physical comic book, and I haven't stopped since.
How many do you have now then?
I have almost 10,000 in my
Oh
collection.
my gosh! Right, 10,000 comics. Where do you store these?
Anywhere there's space.
Anywhere? Have you got sort of like under the bed? I'm imagining all these
Yes.
storage containers, this extra storage you've got for this. And any of them, I mean, 10,000 comics, there must be some in there that are sort of collector's items, no?
Yeah, I have quite a few first appearances. I have some older comics as well. I think my oldest is from 1962. That's a Wonder Woman book.
Wow. And I'm intrigued because when it comes to collector's items, people do part ways with them for the cash. Is that's something that you've kind of ever thought about? Or actually, are they so sentimental that no matter, how much you could get for one, you'll hold on to it forever?
I think I'm more like a hoarder. Like the thought of getting rid of it scares me.
Oh, well, no, I relate. Look, I'm a hoarder in many ways as well. The amount of things that I struggle to get rid of. My mum would tell you that I was a bit of a nightmare growing up, and she was constantly decluttering my decluttering my bedroom. Look, I know that you've collected 10,000 comics, but it doesn't stop there. You've gone from reading to really getting involved with sort of the comic community, and the pandemic played a big part in this. Tell me about how you pushed your passion for this and how you're involving other people as well.
Well, it came about accidentally. I mean, everyone was locked down and you didn't have anywhere to go. So you turned to any form of media to entertain yourself. And I found YouTube and a massive UK comic community on there who were doing live shows where you could join in the chat and you felt like part of the show. And one Sunday I was invited on to appear actually on the show as a guest. And I became a regular every Sunday on that show and I loved it.
Oh, amazing.
And from there, it just stretched out. Now I do a weekly podcast with my friends Scott and Phil. It's called the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club every Wednesday at 9:30 on YouTube. And we love it. We just talk about a different book every week and we get everyone involved who's watching live. And once a month, they get to pick a book for us and they come on and join us and talk about the book. It's so much fun.
I love that. And the element of live, the live aspect is brilliant. I think lockdown really introduced me to these live videos that people were doing, and of course it gives, and quizzes was such a big part of that. I mean, we definitely were sat down as much as we could doing a quiz because it was the only way we could sort of do things with our friends without actually meeting up.
Absolutely. And to meet so many comic book fans as well, because in my real life, like in my working life and my social life, I don't have anyone to talk to about comics, unfortunately. So to find this whole community was just so amazing.
For sure, because sometimes, it is hard to find people that are into the same things. We were kind of talking about finding your tribe last week. We focused massively on Mental Health Awareness Week, a conversation that we really try and continue on the show because it doesn't stop when that week ends. But one thing we highlighted was it's all very well saying finding your tribe, but sometimes it's hard, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, when there's no one around to talk to about your specific passion, you tend to just enjoy it while you're reading the comic and then you put it away and you because you're not talking about it, you tend to just bottle everything up and you just sort of get really excited and also a little bit down because you have no one to tell how amazing this story was that you read last week,
Sure. Well, it's lovely that you have, as you said, a community of people you can do this with, and you're creating this content that people can get involved with virtually. You've got these live quizzes, and am I right in thinking it's your 20th quiz this month?
It is, yes.
Wow, 20. What a milestone.
Yeah, I didn't think it would go this long. I didn't think people would enjoy it as much as they did, but we have a laugh every month and that's the most important thing.
Well, it sounds like a laugh, and I know because I've seen it in the flesh. If you've just tuned in, it's Shade O'Neill, a comic quiz host and host to the Nerd Herd, a weekly YouTube podcast, and it was a snippet, wasn't it, of your quiz that you submitted to BBC Upload. How did you come across us?
A fellow nerds had uploaded one of their podcast episodes, the This Week in Metropolis lads, James and Matt.
Yeah.
And they were on Radio Norfolk a few weeks back.
Oh, amazing! So it's kind of it's doing the rounds, isn't it?
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
Your quizzes.
I never thought I'd be picked.
Oh well, look, I just think it's so unique and it's wonderful because I'm open to all kinds of content. I always say that on the show, but to come across something that no one else has submitted before is definitely something special. And I think it's really important that there's people like you out there creating or using your platform to help other people get together, because I'm sure you're not the only one within your group that struggled to maybe find like-minded people into the same stuff. I guess that's why they've resorted online. I mean, are these conversations you've had with fellow members of the quiz team?
Absolutely. I mean, Phil and Scott, who I host the Nerd Herd with, they were in the same boat as me. They didn't have anyone to talk to about comics until we were all trapped during lockdown and found YouTube.
Sure. And does the conversation between you all extend sort of beyond comments? Have you actually kind of made some friends for life here? It sounds like you have.
Oh, absolutely. We meet up as well when we can, because we all live in different areas. Like Phil's in Ireland, Scott's in Wales, I'm in London. So
wow.
it is
And you've
difficult.
met up. You've done a meetup.
Yeah.
Lovely. Where did you do that?
Scott came down to London for some work courses, and we'll be meeting Phil in November at a comic convention. So we'll be meeting up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's the convention?
It's Thought Bubble.
Oh, okay. And whereabouts is that taking place?
This is going to be really bad. I don't know where it is.
It's okay. Do you know what? I think we all have a habit of getting really excited about an event when it goes in the group chat and we all jump on the bandwagon. Like, it sounds amazing, but not actually going through the fine details. Patrice, the producer, is agreeing with me. I think we're all guilty of that. I mean, I have a child that and my family members, I'm lucky in the fact that if there's something I really want to go to, they'll say, look, we'll give you some respite, we'll have that. But where are you going? And I'll be like, I don't know. I haven't looked at the address. I just know that there's an event going on somewhere and I'd really love to be there. So if I can rein in a babysitter, I'll try. Look, this 20th quiz, what can we expect? How can people get involved? And for the quizzes that follow as well, because I feel like this is going to be an ongoing thing. It's clearly growing in popularity.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I started out with 4 contestants and now I have more contestants than I have actual spaces on the quiz.
Oh.
So unfortunately, StreamYard only allows 10 people on at a time.
Yes.
But when it airs, we have the live chat on YouTube so you can play along and you can answer the questions as we go. And I try to make sure the questions are a varying level of difficulty. So even if you haven't read a comic book, but maybe you've watched some of the movies, you can still get some of the questions.
For us newbies that are keen to meet some new people and, dip into perhaps a new hobby, because it's never too late to pick up a comic book, is it?
Absolutely not. No. There's something out there for everyone.
So you've been collecting comics for some time now. You've got 10,000 copies in all cracks and crevices of the house, it sounds like. Anywhere that there's a space for one, you've put it there. What do you, with how films have developed and how comics play a part, do you feel like there's still that authentic kind of, do you still get that comic buzz even from things that are printed? Do you think you'll still have that buzz with things that are printed in 10 years time, in 20 years time?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing like having a comic in your hand and reading a brand new story, whether it be from your favorite artist or your favorite writer. They'll always bring something new. And you can always go back 10, 20 years and read the older stories because they're timeless.
I had a few friends at school that were really into anime, and they spent a lot of time actually crafting their own storylines. Have you ever attempted to write your own comic? Do you, is art something that you're into as well, or is it purely, is the buzz actually off what goes on in other people's brains?
I'd be lying if I said I hadn't written a comic book.
I love it. Oh my! Have you still got them tucked away somewhere? These storylines?
Yes, I still have the notebook with the story written down, and I've drawn a couple of covers as well. I'm not very good, but I've drawn the basics.
Look, I always say on this show, it doesn't matter how established you are in the craft. I feel like this should be your next upload. I don't want this to be the end. I'm here for some Shane, some direction and have an insight as to what goes on in your brain. Look, there's people listening that might be really into this, or maybe they're not and they want to be. Where can people find you? How can they get involved in the quizzes?
You can find me everywhere at Dawn of Comics, Facebook, YouTube and Instagram.
Brilliant.
Or if you would like to join the Nerd Herd every Wednesday at 9, you can just search the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. That's on Instagram and YouTube. We're also on all podcasts as well, so if you can't watch, you can always listen back. And
I was going to say, with these live shows that you're doing, of course, they can be watched back as well, can't we? Can't they? We can play them back.
Yes, you can watch them back, or if you just want to listen, if you're out on a run, or if you're doing housework, you can just pop your earbuds in and listen to us on Spotify or iTunes.
Love that. We talk so much about podcasts on this show, and I'm always looking for the next thing. So I feel like on my next walk, I'm going to put the headphones in. I'm going to listen to you guys and learn a little bit more about the comic world. Is there one you recommend in particular for a newbie like me?
Well, the last one we did actually was quite popular, quite positive as well. It was a really good book that everyone seemed to enjoy. Everyone in the chat, all the hosts enjoyed it. And a few people in the chat actually hadn't heard of the book, so they went out and bought it after our review.
Love that. So you're spreading the word. Look, it's been so lovely to have you on, and it's 10,000 comics in itself is amazing, but 20 quizzes, I think, is a number that we should all applaud. Very proud of what you've been doing and how you've been getting people together, because that's people that will really appreciate a platform like the one that you've created. As you say, it's a place for people to come together and share their passion, and it's what we do here on BBC Upload as well. So thank you very much. Have you heard that we're putting on an Upload festival?
I have, yes.
So,
don't know if the quiz would translate very well.
Well, look, we're up for anything and everything. Those storylines that you haven't released yet that are in those notebooks could be one to crack open for June.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, look, it's been so lovely having you on. Thank you again for submitting to BBC Upload. And I'm very excited to see where all this quizzing goes. And for anyone that would like to find you, of course, it's at Dawn of Comics, right?
Thank you. Yes,
super.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thanks again for submitting to BBC Upload.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Shane. Bye.
Bye.
Alice Dale here on BBC Radio London. That was our last Upload guest of the evening. We're tapping in to what makes people tick. And Shane has created a platform for people to share their passion and bounce off one another for their love of all things comics. He hosts a comic quiz and a podcast, so it's at Dawn of Comics if you want to get involved and find out a little bit more about the platform that Shane's created.